Hey there, folks. Thanks for joining me for Tech Tuesday. It's 3 o'clock Tuesday. And I am today going to be continuing on a series I've been doing on TruVision Fiber. I was planning on doing something on mapping today, but today I'm going to be talking about the alert thresholds instead, because I think we have a need to look at that. Be right back. Thanks again for joining me, Rick Husey here at Zquorum. So again, I wanted to take a look at the TruVision alert thresholds today because we've had some questions about this, and I think one reason we have is because the alert thresholds for fiber are different than you would see for a cable modem in the system. And I wanted to explain that because it is a little bit confusing. It took me a while to understand it. So hopefully if you're a user of this system, this will help. And if you're watching now and you happen to be on YouTube, you can ask questions in chat. I'll try to answer them if I can. If not, I'll get you an answer later. If you watch recorded later, just go ahead and drop a question into the YouTube comment section, and that will come to me, and then I will go ahead and respond to that. I'll get you an answer via YouTube chat, or if I know who you are, I can go ahead and respond via email. So here is the main screen when you log into TruVision. So just for those maybe who are watching this who are not TruVision users, I'm sure there's some people out there that are subscribers that will come and watch this and maybe have been watching the whole series. So TruVision is a diagnostics application, kind of a cross-platform application. It supports both DOCSIS and fiber. And we put it all in one application and try to make all the screens very similar so that if you happen to be supporting both networks, then your folks that are doing that have screens that look very similar. It's a little bit easier, because you can query customers, and whether they've got a cable modem or a fiber device, that'll pop up. If they've got both for some weird, strange reason, they got both of those, it'll actually show on the one screen, and you can click back and forth. But that way, again, it's a little bit easier to have one tool to get diagnostics for both systems that you're managing. And we're seeing a lot more of that with cable operators that have been traditionally doing DOCSIS, but have expanded into fiber, maybe in greenfield opportunities, or in some case, maybe even overbuilding some DOCSIS plant rather than upgrading it. So to get to the thresholds, you go here to the Admin tab, you click that, and you'll see here when I go to Alert Thresholds, you'll see that we've got modem and ONT. So modem would be on the DOCSIS side, and we've got thresholds set for that. And that's on the DOCSIS side. DOCSIS is pretty standard. All of the equipment, if it's a DOCSIS standard piece of equipment, CMTS, cable modems, they tend to all have to act the same way, and so a lot of the thresholds make sense for all devices for the most part. Now, in a DOCSIS system, you can still go in and change these things, but you'll see that basically we've just got a global set of settings. There's no settings that we have to go down to a specific CMTS. So for our operators that have got maybe multiple CMTS of different makes and models, they're basically the defaults are all the same. It's a little bit different on the fiber side. So here, if I want to look at fiber, I click on ONT, and I've got a similar kind of screen with thresholds. And you'll see up here there's actually a selection box that we didn't have on the cable side that says default. And what I'm looking at now is really kind of these are the global defaults that would be inherited by all OLTs on the system if we don't make any changes at the OLT level, which we can do on the thresholds for TruVision Fiber. So when you log in at first, what you will see, if the first time you log in, is actually all of these will be blank. And then over here you have your default values that are basically the system defaults. So when you see a blank up here and you've got numbers here, these are basically telling you these are the system defaults. And if you have numbers in there, you can go in and change the numbers. And I actually went in and I changed these before I started streaming. So this used to say 1, 2, 4, and 5. So when you go in and change defaults, then that will change the number that appears here. For example, if I change this to 5, let me just go ahead and hit 5. Oops, I forgot. Hang on one second. I forgot I had a hotkey to take me back to that screen, so I'm going to have to use my keys up at the top here. So if I change that to, it actually did work, so it changes to 5. I hit save. Then you'll see, actually, was that 5 already? Sorry, 1, 2, one else is 1, 2, 5, and 6. I think it was 1, 2, 4, and 5. believe. So now it's 1, 2, 5, and 6. Or I can come in here and I can say, let's say I want to change, if I just want to change one number, unfortunately, I think I've got to, if I just wanted to change this to, let me go down here. Let me change this to 75. 75. Sorry, keep forgetting. I got all these hotkeys to change it back and forth between scenes. So if I go to 75, and you'll notice that it says numbers must be in ascending order. So it's giving me a warning. And if I go to hit save now, the ascending order is important, but also because I didn't enter anything else when I hit save, you'll notice it says not saved. So if I wanted to change that to 75, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to use my top numbers now, 75. And let's say I want to change this. I don't want to change this. I want to leave this at 60. And I want to leave this at 10. I could be changing these numbers as well. And I want to leave this at 0. Do that. Now, the only thing I'm really changing, if I look at my numbers over here, these are the system defaults at the moment. And these really are the system defaults. This is what we put in the system just so there are some defaults in there when we first deploy this for you. When I hit save now, you'll notice I've got a not saved when I did it a second ago. Now when I hit save, we'll wait for that. And it says not saved. Why would that be the case? Well, this is Murphy's Law here. Let me reload this. Here we go. Where was I? I was down here. So what did I change that to? 75. Let me start at the front end. I shouldn't have to do that. So I'm going to go to 0. 10. I wonder if I thought I was on the wrong row there because it puts the error now in the right spot. 0, 10, 60. And I want to change just this one to 75. Let's do that again. I think I might have messed something up when I did that earlier. So I'm going to hit save. Still not saved. All right, can't explain that. I did that earlier. I think on this one, I just changed this value here and it worked. Let's say I want to go and change this to a 2. I wonder if I need to reset it first. Reset. Let's go to 2. It might have been, I might not have reset it. 2, 3, 5, and 6. So let's do that. Let's hit save. All right, so that worked. I think maybe I noticed this message was up here before, and I think maybe you can't try to save 2 things in a row. It may be something like that, because once now it is saying that, I don't think I could change anything else because it just made a change. I might have to hit reset, and then you see that error goes away, and then maybe I can change. So that was me playing around the system most likely. So you can see now that I did that, though, that I've got 2, 3, 5, and 6. And let me try this one more time just to make sure what I think is happening happened there. So I did hit reset, and I'm going to do this one again as 0, 10. So I'm only changing the last number, 60, and let's do 70. Now, with it reset, let's see if it saves. And it did. Okay. So now I've got 0, 10, 60, and 70. And you'll notice as I do that again, it's changed the numbers over here. So these numbers, if this is blank, this is representing the system defaults that we put in there when we deployed the system. But if you make any changes, then these will be there, and then they will also be here. So this is now your new, basically you've set a new global default, or I've set a new global default for this particular operator, okay? So this would roll down or be inherited to all OLTs that this operator has. Now, what is different? Oh, and by the way, if you make a change, like let's say you start typing numbers in here, you can always hit reset there, and that will remove those and take it away if you don't want to delete everything. So the other thing, again, we have over here that we don't have on the cable side is that I can select a OLT, and then I get these numbers, and I get basically the system defaults as well as any customized defaults that you put on that global screen. So you can see I've inherited the global defaults, including the custom ones that I set. So it says 2, 3, 5, and 6, which I changed, and you see down here, 0, 10, 60, and 70. So these are the changes that I made on the other screen, and they are now being inherited by this particular OLT, or access concentrator. So I can override those, and I can go back to what was there before, which I think was 1, 2, 4, and 5. So now when I hit save, you'll see that those numbers will stay here, 1, 2, 4, and 5. But notice over here they did not change because we always leave in this particular area where it says default values. These are the default values, meaning that would be either the system default values that we put in, or if you customize those, your default values that again get inherited by every OLT, but you can change them on a specific screen, on a specific OLT. If I go to another one, this one here, you'll see, again, I've got 2, 3, 5, and 6. That's being inherited, but I don't have anything in these fields. So my values for this particular parameter, this transmit level here, are 2, 3, 5, and 6 on this one. Although when I go to this one, my values, what I actually set, are going to show up in these boxes. So I've got 1, 2, 4, and 5. But I can always refer back to these numbers to know what my global defaults are. Now this is, just so you're aware, this is a test system, so these are not, I'm not really impacting these particular OLTs. So I can make these changes and I'm not actually changing thresholds on these OLTs. So that's important to know. Now, of course, and what these numbers mean, so as far as, okay, so I put these in here, these are my default values, what does that mean? So if I've got a 1 here, that means that anything less than 1, if I see that parameter in the application, it's going to be red. Okay, so it's going to be a warning level. It's like this is out of spec significantly, so it's red. Then if it's 1 or less than 2, basically, so if it's 1 or anything less than 2, it's going to be yellow. If it's 2 or anything less than 4, it's going to be green. If it's 4 or anything less than 5, it's going to be yellow. And then if it's over 5, it's going to be red. So basically, that's how these colors, that's telling you what you're doing right here. So if you think about it that way, everything to the left, so again, anything less than 1 is red. Anything less than 2 is going to be yellow unless it's 1, so, or unless it's less than 1, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how those numbers work. And then what that does on the screen, I'll pull up a device here. So, oh, one other thing that I wanted to mention. So if I look at, now I've got 2 different devices here. So I believe this is a Calyx. I believe this is Calyx, and I believe that this is TA5. I think that's an ADTRAN. So depending on the OLT that you have, again, because it's not like DOCSIS where there's this overarching standard that everybody has to follow, that has to be certified and all of that. Things may be a little different from OLT to OLT and from vendor to vendor. So you see here, basically the defaults that I have look pretty much the same if I go back to my default screen. As far as what parameters there are, okay, they look pretty much the same. You can see again the global defaults that we put in, kind of your system defaults, have been changed here. When I go to my access concentrator here, you can see where I overrode this one, okay, and these again still remain as the global defaults. But again, because these OLTs are a little bit different, if I select another one that's a different one, like this ADTRAN, it may not have all of these particular parameters that we can set, in which case they won't show up. So I don't have the opportunity to set some of these same ones because there won't be anything that appears on the screen that we can track. So here we've got some of these ones that are not showing up. I think it's all of these code word errors. So I got upstream and correctable and uncorrectable code words, and downstream correctable and uncorrectable code word errors. So that is not available on this ADTRAN. So we basically stop there. So then if I look at a device that is on this ADTRAN here, a lot of times we'll have a picture of that. We don't have it in this case, but we'll have a picture of that device right there. And we'll have, obviously, the customer information, and their address will appear up here, and we'll have them mapped on the map, and you'll see other devices that are nearby. In this case, there's no customer data associated with this, so there's no map information or any of that. But we're looking here at this, and we see we do have a couple of alerts here. We've got a transmit level alert, and that's at 1.8 dBm. Then we've got an OLT receive level alert at -1.2 dBm. And these are alerts and not warnings, so they're in the yellow stage. Here we've got operational status of down. So this device is showing this operational status is down, but yet it is getting these figures. And then we've got something here, operational down on video. I don't know if there's any other ports. Okay, so that's showing down, but yellow there. I'm not sure what the difference is. So I can look at gig E1 and gig E2 on that. But in any event, I can see my 1.8 dBm here, and I can see my minus 221.2 dBm. And if I go back to that screen, what were they again? Sorry. So I've got transmit level 1.8. And if I look here on transmit level, anything, well, that I would think that would be red. So maybe it's because it's down, and maybe that could be the figure when it was down. I don't know. So that really should be in the red if I'm looking at that right. Let's see, 1.8, that is lower than 2, correct? So I think that should be red. And then what I have here is I've got a minus 21.2 dBm on OLT receive level. OLT receive level. I guess that's that. Minus 23, so that one makes sense. That one's minus 22, so it's in between here, 23 and 20. So that one does make sense that that would be yellow. So this is transmit level number. And this is transmit level. I'm assuming that's correct, right when I'm looking at. So Murphy's Law again. So this being a test system, I don't know if there's something wonky going on there, but the way they are supposed to work, obviously, is that the numbers you put in here, you know, as I mentioned before, let me go back to one that had had the numbers in there. So again, this being less than a 1 and something like that should show up as red, or really less than, oh, maybe that's why. Let's see, which one am I looking at here? This is the, that's why, right? Is that right? Let me see, this is, I'm trying to decide, I can't remember which, this is antetum. I don't think this is antetum. I think that's this one. So that would be, again, minus, or 1.8 is less than 2. So I really think that should be red. So I'll check with our developers and find out if I'm looking at that right or not. I think I am looking at it right. So I got a question here. 1 second. From Craig, is there a way to have it not alarm alert on a admin user disabled gig E port? When we deploy, we administratively disable unused ports and turn them up if they subscribe later on. It's a good question. Don't know the answer, but I know I can get you the answer. So I'm going to make a note of that. Actually, I'll be able to see it right here. So I will check with our developers on that as well, and I'll get you an answer on that, Craig. I will probably be able to look in the user database and get your email address from that for TruVizion users. If I can't find it there, I'll go ahead and I'll put a comment on YouTube. But I think I'll be able to find that. Being as I have your name here, I should be able to find your email address from that. In fact, what operator are you with, if you don't mind saying? That will actually help me find you. And I can check that out as well. So I know there's a little delay here, and when I ask that and when you type. And I'll wait for an answer. You may or may not be answering that. So, but again, if I can't find you, and I should be able to find you, I'll have one of the guys look up your last name, and I'll try to reply by email. So, again, I don't know why that's not working. I will go ahead and comment on the video at the top. I'll pin a Mid-Hudson. Thank you. I'll pin a comment at the top as to if I was looking at something wrong on this video, or how the thresholds work, or maybe it's something related to the fact that, again, this is just a test system. This is only semi-production. These are real devices, but we're kind of pulling that information into our own test system here. This is not the development system, which I've been showing in past broadcasts, because I understand that right now they're doing all kinds of development on that, and I was really afraid it was not going to work at all, because they're in the process of developing, and when they do that, the system's up and down and doing all kinds of stuff. So this is just a separate test system that our development manager has set up for his own purposes, because the development platform so often is something that he can't look at because it's up and down because they're developing. So, but this is not a production system, so there may be that to be said. So anyway, that's the way it works. Hopefully that makes more sense now that you've got the two different places where you put any threshold changes that you want to make, again, you've got your global defaults right here that is inherited by all OLTs, starting out with the system defaults that we put in, and you can override those by doing as I showed there, and then you can go to the individual OLTs and make any changes specific to that. Since different equipment may act a little bit differently, then that's something that you may want to tweak a little bit so that you get fewer, reds maybe, because you know that the equipment is acting a little bit differently than some other equipment might. So, all right, well, thanks for joining me. Again, hopefully that's helpful. I will, something else I'm going to do. So I've been doing these. I mean, if you're a TruVision user, you may not be aware, I've been doing these kind of for the past 8 or 10 Tuesdays. I've been doing TruVision Fiber, going through some of the features there. So also in the comments, I will post a link to a YouTube playlist where all of my Tech Tuesdays are, and the ones that are at the very top are all the ones that I've been doing most recently on TruVision Fiber. So at the end of this, shortly after, I'll post that link. So if you wanted to go back and watch any of the videos, maybe this particular feature that you're not familiar with, or you want to learn about something more, then I will have that up there as well. So thanks for joining me. Give me a like if you like this. Click the subscribe button to be subscribed to our YouTube channel. Make sure you click the bell if you want to be notified through your browser or your device when I am live or when we post a video, and clicking that bell will do that. So thanks a lot, and I will see you next time. I'll be back tomorrow with broadband deployment news at some point during the day. So again, if you're subscribed, click the bell. You'll be notified when I'm live talking about what's going on in the world of broadband deployment and all the funds that are being released and other kinds of topics related to that. Thanks a lot. Take care.